please stand for the opening prayer and pledge?
Father in heaven, bless us as we gather today for this meeting. Guide our minds and hearts so that we will work for the good of our community. Teach us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in the face of difficulty, and wise in our decisions. Thy will be done. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call this Hancock County Commission to order. This 19th day of March 2015. Please remind you to turn off all cellular devices. Set them on vibrate. We're going to be a little bit flexible in our agenda today. We're going to pass on citizens' presentation, the scheduled citizens' presentation. Would anyone like to address this commission today besides item A? Not so. Let's move right into correspondence, Roman numeral 2. New Cumberland Riverfest Committee requesting financial support for Riverfest 2015.
Mr. President, before us today, under correspondence, I see that we have 4, 5, 6 items relating to requests that generally we look at doing when we do our special projects, which normally take place in July. I move that we take correspondence A, B, C, D, E, and F and put those into the special projects list that we can address later this year.
Okay. We have a motion to combine all 6 correspondence as they will, they're really not part of our operational budget and they'll come out of our special projects or the hotel motel tax money is correct. So we have a motion. Is there any discussion, debate?
No, just for the record, they're not funds that are dispersed yet. They're just requests for funds
Correct.
that if we can work it into, they get them. Otherwise, they don't.
Correct. Yeah. Further debate? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Roman numeral 3, new business, County Commission, approval of resolution to apply for the West Virginia Justice Assistance Grant Program, Prevention Resource Pro Officer.
So moved.
Discussion?
The application, approval of the resolution, does it give any funding, the amount of funding that would be for the pro officer? I haven't had an opportunity to look at this. Just curious if they mention a dollar amount.
It doesn't on
It
this.
doesn't say, okay. No discussion.
Further discussion? Would we not, Mr. Vice, help me on this one. This is the for all the pro officers or just
I believe this is for the 2 high schools.
2 high school
Right.
pro
This
officers? This
has
would not
nothing to
be
do
for
with
the
the elementary school.
elementary schools and okay. Okay.
The school system's actually paying for these EROs.
Not these.
That's why I asked the question.
They pay for the other 3 that Mr. Schwartzmiller mentioned at the elementary schools.
The ones that were in the bond call.
These were not in the law
No, we've had these for.
since the inception.
That's why I said question. Do we have to work through the school board or
vote on these.
So there's two separate issues here.
Clarification, sorry, gentlemen. Somebody mentioned it was this grant was for the 2 high schools. How about the 2 pro officers that are at the middle school? That was not part of the bond call.
I think this might be all of them.
Okay, so this would be for all 4?
Yeah.
Maybe we can just get that information at a later date.
Right, yeah, because the question was whether we had to involve the school board or not. Looks like this is a no here.
Also, it's a budget issue as well. If this grant is only for the 2 high schools, and in the past it's been for the the 2 middle schools as well, that's
Correct.
The grant for 4 officers. We just want to make sure we clarify that for the purpose of our budget.
And your original question is, were there any cuts? Sheriff, do you know? I know you just got in say no, but pro officers, grants, you know if there's any reduction in... Okay.
I haven't seen any reductions come across yet. I'll get that back to you
Okay.
if there has been any change.
So we're on item 1 under A in County Commission. So really, we're really not discussing what the original motion was, and that was to approval of application. We have a motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 3-0. Item 2, approval of resolution to apply for the West Virginia Justice Assistance Grants Program Drug Task Force, DTF.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Item 3 under new business. Approval resolution to apply and enter into a contractual agreement with the Community Participation Grant Program on behalf of the Newell Community Improvement Coalition for lighting installation at Laurel Hollow Park in the amount of $2,000 and $5,000. These are actually 2 separate grants. The $2,500 was the old grant, and then there was a new grant that came across, and we put that. So this is 2 separate grants totaling $7,500.
Move to approve.
Further discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Approval of exoneration orders.
Move to approve.
They just fell on the floor. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. General county bills.
General County's $115,896.73. P-card payments $32,652.23.
Move to approve paying the bills.
All of them? Okay. I'm just stalling
All
a little
that you
bit more.
have.
I'm still
All that you
stalling a
have.
little bit. Okay. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of animal shelter levy, fund bills, and requisitions.
They're okay to pay.
Debate? Questions?
Move to approve.
Debate? Question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of fire allocation bills and requisitions.
They're okay to pay.
So moved.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of library levy fund
They're okay with that.
there as well.
Yes.
So moved.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of shelter workshop levy fund bills and requisitions.
They're
We're paying a lot of bills here.
Move to approve.
Question? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of minutes for December 2014 through February 2015.
So moved.
Discussion? I have a correction. Even though it was a typo, I think we should correct it. It was a motion by Commissioner Greathouse to adjourn until January the 8th at 2:30 a.m. And I didn't want the press to pick up on that we were meeting in the middle of the night. Plus, George's people would be turning in overtime, so we wanted to move to correct that.
You want to pay your time?
We have to run it through a motion.
Probably should.
Oh, you did? Sorry. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Elected officials or courthouse related. Karen? Nothing today? We were talking about that. Mr. Lucas?
Nothing today. I'll defer till after.
Okay. How we doing on that, by the way? I'm trying to go as slow as I can.
We're doing good, I think.
Okay. Who we got in the back here? The health department's here today. Charleston.
Nothing today.
Nothing today.
Yes.
The assessor is with us.
Not for today.
Today. Oh, he's here. Extension office is here.
Yes.
Would you like to address the commission?
I usually brag about my 4-Hers, which I can always do. But today I wanted to let you know that we had a training today with a wonderful group of volunteers called Master Gardeners. These folks take part in 30 hours of training and in return give back service hours to the community. And one of the things we did today was an additional training program that we do for 3rd grade students called Meet the Plants. They're actually learning about the basics of gardening. And we just had a training today of some of our volunteers who are going to be going into and teaching that program yet this school year. So we're very excited about it. We do have some additional slots open for our Energy Express program, looking for folks to serve as AmeriCorps members this summer. They need to be graduating seniors from high school who are college bound and 18 by June the 11th, or currently enrolled in college. So we do have some slots open for that, and we'd be thrilled to have some folks. If you know of anybody, let me know. I'd be happy to talk with them. That's it.
We have a couple of 911ers back here.
All good. Always quiet today.
Oh, good, we're good there. Okay. I'm going to stop right there, and we're going to jump back to citizens present. I know we'll do that when we finish that. We're going to jump back to citizens presentation. Today we have with us the commander and quartermaster from VFW Post 3526, Veterans of Foreign War, and they will be presenting the West Virginia Law Enforcement Officer of the Year Award to Deputy Scott Little. Commander, you or Bill, are you going to? You have the floor. Please step up to the mic.
Thank you, commissioners. Thank you, everyone that's here. It's a great honor to be here and to honor Patrolman Scott Little. And as combat veterans, we daily think about the people that we were alongside in certain situations in battle or whatever, and we think about the ones that are there in harm's way now. But we need to also think every day about the patrolmen and the EMTs and the firemen who, as citizens, put their life on the line every day. And every once in a while, just as on a battlefield, some of those people are exemplary. They stand out. They're exceptional. And it is my great honor today we're proud to have submitted Scott to the state of West Virginia as an application for Patrolman of the Year, State of West Virginia Veterans of Foreign Wars. And Scott won. And So Scott, Veterans of Foreign Wars, State of West Virginia, presented to Deputy First Class Scott R. Little in grateful recognition of unyielding adherence to the highest ideals of law enforcement, maintaining, preserving, and protecting the lawful rights of all citizens, leading to your selection as 2014-2015 Law Enforcement Officer of the Year. Congratulations, Scott. And from the Commander-in-Chief, Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States, John Strout, the VFW National Law Enforcement Award, awarded to Deputy First Class Scott R. Little in recognition and sincere appreciation of his dedication and selfless service to the Sheriff of Hancock County, West Virginia. During Scott Little's outstanding career, he has maintained a record of highly professional and exemplary service to the community and the nation. His extraordinary commitment clearly illustrates the proud core values and traditions of the law enforcement profession, further highlighted by the degree of admiration and respect of both his peers and the local public he serves. Deputy First Class Scott Little is truly an exceptional example of all who wear the badge, and his honor reflects the proud ideals and high standards of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. Thank you, Scott. Oh, and here's the check, Scott.
By the way.
But I want to thank Scott for his service, and congratulations, Scott. Job well done. Thank you all.
The press, was that enough photos for you?
I'm good. Yeah.
You're good? Okay, good. Congratulations, Scott.
Thank you, sir.
And I'd like to recognize that his parents are with him this evening. Afternoon, so thank you. Okay, Mr. Vitus.
Nothing today, sir.
Nothing today. County Clerk's Office?
Nothing today.
Nothing today. Mr. Barnaby.
I like to keep quiet, but I actually got to sit through our first, or my first, budget plan with the individual offices in the courthouse. So it's unfortunate that in my first year you had to be like hardcore because our budget is projected to be decreased, and you feel sympathy for the people that want everything and employees for raises and that. And Mike alluded to in the beginning of the year and last week again, it's thin, and it's tough to just look the guys in the eyes and say it can't happen. Everybody does such a fantastic job, and we would hope that it would continue, and we need to hope that the county starts seeing revenue levels back to where it used to be. And just talks among us, it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen. And cuts right now are basically just in anything that doesn't affect salaries. So it's a happy day for me to be here and serve people, and it's a sad day that you can't do what you really like to do. That's all I got to say.
Commissioner Davis.
I'm going to defer my comments for a few moments and let the sheriff go back to the sheriff. And
Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay.
I very politely asked you to defer my comments, and you very politely skipped over me, and you forgot me.
Sheriff Fletcher, that comes with old age. You're going to get there someday.
Well, I'd like to comment on Scott Little. The men who work for me are learning that the harder you work, the more I expect. And I have put a lot of extra responsibility on Scott since I took over. And I've done that because he stepped up each time and accomplished what was asked of him the time before. This award is really just in this particular case, and I'm quite proud of Scott, and as I'm sure his parents are. He's also been able to save us money because of his education and training of the new canines, etc. I've relied on him, I've come to rely on him in regards to our canine unit, which is another area that I have a responsibility that I put on Scott. He doesn't have anything on his sleeve. That's called slick sleeve. He's a young officer, isn't holding rank, but he holds the position of being in command of the entire canine unit because of his ability. And I wanted to make sure that I let the public know that. And I'm quite proud of him, and I'm pleased with the work he's done, and I expect more. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
I'd like to, Sheriff, while we're talking about the canine units and Scott, obviously most people know that we lost one of the canines a couple weeks ago, Freddie, and there's been some comments out in the public in regards to the replacement of the canines. I was wondering if you would mind sharing your thoughts on what may be done with the replacement of Freddie or the one that may be retiring soon, just so the public has an idea of what the plans are for the Sheriff's Office.
I was expecting to retire one dog this year, pretty shortly. I was not expecting the death of Freddie. So not only do we need to replace the one that has just passed, but we have another dog that is it's up there in age, and it's due to retire. So I was putting in for some help from the commissioners to tackle that cost that I was anticipating. Now that we have Freddie that's passing, I wasn't anticipating this amount, so it's going to be even more difficult. And I know, and I very well know, that the commission is strapped in many ways financially. Many people in the public have already started trying to raise some money for us. There's I'm not sure if I want to say it right, a GoFund account that somebody on their own put together. If you all remember little Ray J that we had that made a police officer for a day, he was a cancer victim that now is recovering. He's written letters. He's trying to raise money for in what he considers his brotherhood now. And I thought that was pretty sweet. I just got copies of his letter today. But we do have a lot of people who are coming forward and who are wanting to help in some way. And I'm very pleased to see that. I don't know where we're at. We haven't done anything formally as of yet. I've talked to two individuals who are really strong in trying to do something for the department. Freddie was a very friendly dog. Made a lot of children happy. The new dog we have, not so friendly. We won't put him in school yet, but we'll keep him out in the playground in the fenced-in yard. But Freddie was special, all right, and the community knew that because he's been around for a while. So it seems like the community is looking to help us and absolutely welcome it. As a matter of fact, donations have started coming in, and I received a donation today from one of our local businesses that owns a car wash, and I'm quite thankful for that too. Mr. Davis was kind enough to put a donation of his own towards replacement of Freddie, and thank you for that. But there's others that I'm unaware of yet, and we're working on it. But when I'm speaking about these other two ladies who came forward, my thoughts are to put together maybe a panel and try to see what we can do and put more thought to it than just from our side. Get the community involved as far as a committee to help replace these dogs. They're vital. They really are. They work for feed. I don't, but they do. They work for gratification of a pet on the head. I don't, obviously. They do bite. I do that too. But they're vital, and we need to continue this program. And any help from the public or help from the commissioners in the future. I don't have any numbers put together, but I will be putting that together shortly.
What's the address of the GoFund?
It's on our Facebook page for the Hancock County K-9 units. It's on there, and it's been shared in multiple places throughout it, and I'll get with you.
Okay.
Does that help you out?
Yeah, I was. Excuse me. I wanted to make sure that the press was aware that there is a website that folks can go to, and is it you say GoFund?
It's GoFund, yes,
Uh-huh.
and it's available through Facebook, off of Facebook, and it's available off of our Facebook page for the K-9 units also.
Sheriff, one other question, simply for the purpose of the public to be aware of. What is the average cost, ballpark price, to purchase a K-9, have the training done, and maybe a training for the officer who's going to have it, so on?
That's where the real cost comes involved. The dogs themselves are very expensive to begin with. When you add the training of the dog and the training of the officer, it goes between $12,000 to $14,000. The dogs are imported, and in most cases, they already have basic training in most cases. But then you have to marry the handler to the dog and continue the training. And I'm anticipating in having a completely brand new officer for the one that's retiring. However, to replace Freddie, it won't be quite as expensive because Deputy Hoder is of course quite willing to remain a K-9 officer, and that's his choice. And I've already told him that he's got it. So it'll be less expensive because I don't have to train him, but he will have to meet the dog and train with the new dog. But again, we're fortunate. We have Deputy Little, whose level of training with our department is such that he can take a pretty green dog and move it forward to the level that we need to have to put him on the street. So that's a savings.
Green dogs somewhere to 7,000. It cuts the cost tremendously down.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Last dog we just got was Nitro. And I'm not trying to delay your meeting, but it was Nitro. That's the new dog here. Along with other things Deputy Little did, he helped put together the K-9 Association coming to our area this past year, if you all remember, and brought in tons of cops and cruisers and from all over. Well, Deputy Little headed that program up. And in so doing, he was able to get some funding for that, some donations to help defray the cost. Well, there was some funding left over, which is what we used to purchase Nitro. It wasn't quite enough, so the sheriff was able to take money out of the concealed carry fund to match it. You see? So we try to defray as much cost as we can, and we'll continue in this matter too. But we still have to come to you.
Gotcha.
Good.
Scott, hey, being out in the community pretty much on a daily basis, I get to talk to a lot of folks. You're certainly highly respected in the community. You know your colleagues, they're behind you. You guys all work great together. And I'm just proud of that as an officer. I mean, I see how the people in the community relate to you. And it's great to have you. Appreciate what you do. Good man. Good parents. Must have raised you right, huh?
He's done a lot of it on his own.
Thanks. Thank you.
Well, you ought to be proud that they're here. We had a little discussion this morning on something. We were looking at, how do you correct some of the problems, and there's no parenting. So when you can come and get an award, that speaks for you, and when they can come, that speaks for them. So kudos to you guys.
You finished? Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
No, I haven't started yet.
I thought he referred to me.
Scott, congratulations. Not only we're proud of you, but all of Hancock County is proud of you for what you do. So, I don't have a whole lot. We did work on the budget. It's late in the year for working on our budget. It's due next Friday. But we had some things out of our control that we really had to wait on. There were some pending or non-pending bills in Charleston, whether they were going to pass or not. And actually, even the sheriff was probably looking at the concealed carry bill. And that probably even affects you financially. You mentioned that, so
It's a possibility.
Sure.
In fact, I don't see the concealed carry affecting our areas, mainly because we sit so close to the other states.
Okay.
So, but it will have an effect on possibly counties within the middle areas.
But when we were doing our budget, we had some major bills out there that we really weren't sure. We really even weren't sure what the implications would be, and we still weren't sure. This isn't an exact science on some of this. There was the homestead exempt bill out there. It did not pass. It died. We still have the comp room lawsuit that we're working on. That affects our budget. That's potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then we had the smoking ban, and we were waiting on the smoking ban to see where that was going to go. It did not get overturned, so that now July 1 smoking is in effect. And that is going to have an impact again on our budget, and that's where I'm leading to with that. We had some numbers in our head that we were going to, and these aren't, so the media people don't quote these to the penny, because we're still looking. It's still out there. The verdict's still out, but excuse me, we had some rough numbers that around 10-1 was going to be our revenue side, so we have to match up our revenue with how much we can spend. This was pre the closure of the legislature, and with that, we had to adjust that. And even actually, Mountaineer had given us some numbers earlier, percentage numbers earlier. We plugged those in, so we had to readjust that 10-1. We adjusted it down to 9.6. These are millions, 9.6 million. And on our expenditure side, we are at right now. We were at 9.7. And if you work it out, 4 and 3 and 3, we're about 160,000 difference between our income and our revenue right now. So we still got some tweaking out of some of the departments. We're going to work on that this week, and then we are going to come back next week since we do not have a commission meeting, and the budget's due next Friday. Gentlemen, how's our schedule look for next Thursday to come in? It shouldn't be a long meeting. We have to have two of us here to approve that budget.
I'm good. After 2:10.
I'm fine. Anytime.
We're good. So we will set the meeting for next week, Thursday, March the 26th. Let's go 3 o'clock to finalize Hancock County's budget for the year.
Okay.
Anything else, gentlemen?
I have a question on the smoking, and it goes into effect July 1. Jackie, you can help me. There's supposedly fines for violations, am I correct?
That's to be determined.
We won't ask the question.
All the magistrates.
What's that?
All the magistrates office will determine that based on what violation.
So how do you determine a violation? Who will be?
Magistrate, I can't answer that question.
So they would levy the fine.
who finds out if cheating is going on? If you're in a little cafe that just has a door and they're smoking in there,
During the inspections, people complaining that people are breaking
so that would actually be handled by the
the law.
sheriff's department, the city police, or something. Or
Well, people will complain to us probably because it's our regulation.
and then where does it go to from there?
Depends on what you find and what you investigate.
Okay, and the reason I'm asking you is because, face the fact. If you can't cheat, you can't cheat. But there are people saying, we'll just pay the fine and deal with it. How do you answer that? What do you
Doesn't
say?
everybody
Are you
do
crazy
that
or
now
what?
anyway? Unless the law comes in.
So there's not going to be and it has nothing to do with you guys. There's no formal procedure. Violation. One is a $100 fine or slap on the wrist. 2 is a $100 fine. 3 is
Only what's specified in the regulation as far as what is required of people to do on the regulation. How many violations? What is the violation? How many times have they broke that requirement? What did the magistrates determine what that fee would be?
so there's no way to get anything out prior to that to let the people know what's going on.
Other than follow the regulation, that would probably be the wise choice.
Right. And the court system handles from there.
Huh?
In the court system, it would handle it from there. The analogy of a speeding car, you get a speeding ticket, it depends where you're at and how fast you're going.
I was just going to say, so
Are
it's
you
like
driving drunk? How
Yeah.
many times have you driven?
Right.
Have your license reviewed?
Further discussion, gentlemen? With that, we are adjourned
next month's
until
meeting.
next Thursday, 3 o'clock.